No videos, please. It's against the rules. Good morning.
Good morning. Is class gonna unexpectedly be canceled today, or is everything good?
I can't know the future.
Yeah.
That was a district cancellation. District required that I go into the office right away instead of waiting till the afternoon. So I could not get out of that.
What happened?
Well, district said we're going to allow teachers to go and get any materials they need because when we first went off, they thought we were going to only go off for 2 weeks. So the plan was 2 weeks we would return. That's why there was the change in the homework. Instead of waiting till we get back, we have to start submitting it online on Schoology now, which a lot of people aren't doing yet.
But why would anybody think that we would only be gone for 2 weeks?
That's what the district said. So, that being said,
Interesting district.
once they change that, well, people don't know the future. These are unprecedented times, so nobody knew when they made that call what was going to happen. Okay, but what happened is then once they said, oh, teachers are going to be out longer, then teachers needed some of their resources that they didn't take with them. They didn't think they would need that long. They wouldn't need them for just such a short period out. So I went in, I gathered all my testing materials so that I can put up tests for you guys, which I'll explain to you when class starts. How's everybody doing? Okay. We still have a lot of students that have not been checking in. I'm glad everybody so far, I'm seeing your names. Who's Gina? Is that a parent?
Oh, that's me.
Who's me?
Oh, Jaywon?
Mm-hmm. Got it. I had a Snapple fact yesterday that said that the human brain, on average, operates on the same amount of power as a 10-watt light bulb.
That's crazy.
I know. It's kind of like that when we went to the moon, that the technology inside the shuttle and the other crafts were as technologically empowered as a basic calculator, like a scientific calculator.
Mr. Long.
Really? Like
Yeah.
a TI-84?
No. Not even a TI-84. That's not a scientific calculator. That's a graphing calculator. I'm talking about a basic calculator.
Oh, wait, really?
Hi, Mr. Rosenthal.
Yeah. Hello. So the calculating.
Hi, Mr. Long.
Hello. So the calculating power back then was so limited, and yet that was enough to go to the moon and back.
Wow.
Yep.
We can't seem to do it again.
It's not that we can't do it again. I don't think.
Here's something funny.
What?
So, I was reading a book, and it was like about the Vikings, and one of the things, it was a chart of like different types of illnesses and what they would do about it, and it said virus, pray to God, nobody knows what to do with a virus, and there was a little footnote that said, surprisingly, 1,500 years later, after medical technology has advanced to such an extent, we still don't know what to do with a virus.
Well, there's a lot wrong with that. First of all, back then they didn't know there was no germ theory. There wasn't germ theory till much, much later, till I think the 1800s or 1800s, I think, late 1800s, germ theory comes about. So before that, they didn't even know that there was a virus. They just saw people get sick. They knew that they were sick and that they weren't doing well. But
Well, it was supposed to be like a funny book, not
Oh,
like
yeah.
exactly accurate.
And we kind of do know what to do with viruses. We're doing it right now. We're solving the problem.
What do with the flu?
Review, right?
And that's because of germ theory. We know how things get transmitted. We know how to limit things, and we know how to create vaccines, even though it takes time.
Why does it take time?
Well, there's a whole process of testing.
Mr. Rosenthal?
Hmm.
So do we just take a picture of the homework and then we send it to you through Schoology?
Yes,
Okay.
most students have not been doing it. So I'd like to see everybody else start submitting their work. There's a problem on the board, by the way. It's from the review. You can start doing it.
Can you rewrite the problem, please?
Sure. No, not that one. I can rewrite some of it. You can't see it? Yeah, you can see it. Can you not see it?
Yeah.
Then no. I'm being difficult.
How difficult?
Hopefully not too difficult.
I already see that.
So they just want us to like solve for M?
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you came to that conclusion.
When you solve it, you're like, why didn't I get this earlier?
What do you mean?
It's like when you solve it, you're like, when you plug it in, you look at how simple the answer is.
Well,
Oh wow, the answer is pretty simple.
I know.
This is 1/4, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then 1/4 multiplied
Easier
by
at
4.
actually. If you think of this as 1/4, to get rid of the 1/4, you multiply by 4 over
By
1.
4. Yeah.
Is that
I
x
think-
minus m?
It is.
Mm-hmm.
So then
Meh.
I mean m could be 1.
Could be. But we don't say
I
answer.
mean, there's.
But if you want to
Yeah.
say an answer, you have to do it in the chat. M is not 0.003.
There's only one possible answer.
Yes, sir.
What's true about M is the value of M.
What's true about m is that it stands for McDonald's.
That's not what they're asking for.
This is still the chapter 8 review, right?
Yeah, this is the chapter 8 review.
Okay.
Hope you guys are checking your updates every day. Check for updates every day.
We have a lot of work due on Friday. We have like,
Well,
we have,
mine were,
I
those
have to,
were given a long time ago. Those were given last.
yeah, like for science and like
Mhm.
for like,
the screen turned off.
I don't know.
It does that from time to time with latency.
It's almost 10 o'clock.
It is. We have 35 participants. That's one class worth.
Here's the time.
That means the half of our students are not here right now, which is, I have not had a way of resolving that yet. I really need, I have Schoology updates, I have the Zoom lessons, and then the third way is you guys. I'm counting on you guys as a third way to communicate to all of your peers that are not joining us daily. We really need them here. So please try to reach out to whoever you know to try to get them here. We're counting on you to do that. They are counting on you.
I have an idea.
Mr.
Hold on,
Rosenthal,
wait a minute. Whoever this is here, Chut, and then you can fill in the rest. I'm gonna remove you if you don't change your name.
That's Charlie.
that's Charlie, I think so.
Yeah, you have to change your name. You cannot have
Okay.
it. Okay.
It just does that immediately when I come in because my mom was doing it for me and then she just named me that.
Okay. You
I'm
got yeah. I
changing
need to see everybody's name normally. So Charlie,
Mr.
you want me to
Mr. Galax,
you want me to take you out and then you can come back in as Charlie? Are you able to change your name before you come on?
But you could change it while you're in this.
you can change your username.
I turned that off, that you can change your name.
No, you
Oh.
don't be able to change mine.
Oh,
You can change it right now?
you can.
All right, it's 10. I don't want to waste any time on it. Charlie, you need to fix that next time. Because I'm going to remove Galaxy Note 9.
Yeah,
Whoever-
what is that?
I'm going to remove, that's how I'm going to start class. I'm going to remove people that don't have, I can't see who you are. So I'm removing.
It's because
I was just
It's
sharpening
because,
my
like-
pencil. I was gonna change it right after I came, but you've turned the thing off, so I can't do it now.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to remove Galaxy Note 9. They'll have to come in with a name.
is that Angus?
That's
don't-
Brandon because his
Oh,
phone.
you removed them? Oh, never
Yeah,
mind.
they're gone. And I have to do this for security reasons. I need to be able to go through and see who's in here. Okay, I can see everybody else. Charlie, I'm
It's 10:01.
going to leave you alone. I am aware. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, all right, here we go. So, some
They're
updates.
saying
Excuse me.
that they don't.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
So before we go on to the review, I'm just going to tell you how it's going to work in Schoology. In your materials folder, I have set up a Zoom test folder. That's where your test is going to show up tomorrow. When is your test going to show up tomorrow? It's going to show up at 9:50. So right now it's about 10, just after 10. That test is going to show up in your materials folder, in the Zoom test folder, which is in the materials folder, at 9:50, at which you can just begin taking the test. But you need to log on to Zoom. I'm going to take attendance of who's taking the test live. Okay, so you must log into Zoom so that I can take attendance while you're taking the test. Okay? And I'll be
have a
on.
question.
Hold on, I'm still talking. Hold on one sec. I'll be live on Zoom while you're taking the test, so you can ask me questions. Mr. Rosenthal, what do they mean by this? And what do they mean by that? Also remember that the questions are worded this same way. So you should be asking now what they mean by that. And so that should limit the amount of questions you're going to need from me. And then the submission will be no later than 11:30, which you can either scan your document or you can take a picture of it. All right? So you can submit it by photo. Once you submit it by photo, there's different ways. You can send it to yourself in an email. You can, if it's an iPhone, you can airdrop it to yourself. And then it's a file. Some people are putting it on Google Docs and then submitting it from Google Docs. Some people are scanning. This is from my geometry
You can
class.
scan it. You can scan it.
Yep, you can scan it. And then
Scanning is the easiest.
Okay, and so my geometry class is already doing that now. So they've all submitted, and they're past
Oh.
the deadline now. So it will be time stamped when you put it in. If you get it in after 11:30, you will have to do another test. It won't count after
Oh.
11:30. Okay? So that means you have to
So
finish
when is
the
the
test
test?
and leave time to submit it. Now, you are getting 100 minutes because the test becomes available at 9:50, not at 10. So you can start right when you get it. Now, how are you going to do it? You can print it out, and then you'll have an answer key on there to just put it right onto the answer key. Or you can just take it from your computer without printing it out, but then you have to, and I know I'm going to have to repeat this a bunch of times, you will have to make your own answer key. It's really important for security that you show all work. You cannot just put answers this time. I must see thoroughly your work and how you got what you got. Okay, because I can't stop you from looking at notes, using calculators, texting other friends, things. I can't stop you. So the only thing I can do is make it a little bit more difficult by having you show your work. So if you just put answers, you will not get credit this time. And I'm very serious about that.
What if you did it mentally?
Then you will not get any credit for it.
Because then you could have like looked it up or something.
You will get no.
You still did equations in your head, so there's work to be shown.
Do whatever you want to do in your head. I don't care if you do it in your head or not.
Just put it on paper.
If you don't show your work and what you did thoroughly, you will get 0 credit for it. Period.
Oh. Wait, Mr. Rosenthal?
Yeah.
If you do it in your head.
For like a security of like what, like, will we have our video off or
No.
not?
Yes, video has to be off. So a big
Okay.
part of the security is the honor system. Remember, in Science Academy, we are all on our honor. Okay. So
Yeah.
by honor code, you are on your honor. We are assuming you guys will make. Okay. So whoever Dill Pickle is, I have to remove you. Sorry.
That's Dylan.
Dylan, you'll have to come back on as Dylan. Sorry,
Wait, why?
because you cannot have those other names. I need to know who everybody is.
Whoa.
Wait, but I've had this for the past few weeks and
I know.
said it was
And
fine.
Right, because when I first started this, I have to learn as I go, right? So I'm not all knowing. I'm not omniscient. So as we go through this process, I realize certain things, and then afterwards I make adjustments. You're seeing me make adjustments. You have to have your right name on here.
Sure.
Everett, turn off your video.
Yeah, and Everett, you have to stop with the video.
Mr.
It's not
Rosenthal?
letting me rename myself.
I'm not letting you rename yourself. Oh,
Yes,
you can't.
sir,
Oh,
maybe.
you can't rename yourself when you come in.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, you
cannot.
can't.
You can.
I can't. I don't know why.
You click
have
on
to
your
just
name.
No,
Turn
you
it on
can't.
and you
I don't-
can name yourself.
Okay, here
as
we
your
go.
own name.
Here we go. I'm gonna make it. So, I'm gonna make it so you can rename yourself. But we're wasting a lot of time. I don't want to waste
Oh,
any
Mr.
time.
Rosenthal?
So you can rename yourself Charlie, and Dylan, you can rename yourself. Go ahead and you can do that now. Okay. So questions about how the test is gonna work tomorrow. Go.
I just don't understand. Like, are we gonna have to write all our notes on paper and then like take a picture and turn it in, or?
Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
And your scratch work has to be legible. I have to be able to see what problem goes with what scratch. It cannot be random, just all over the place. Okay?
Wait, so how do you print out the test? Are you gonna like post it on
On your
Schoology?
printer at home.
Are you gonna post it on Schoology?
Okay, yes, you must have missed that part. Okay, so I'll say it again. In Schoology, you have a materials folder.
Oh.
In the materials folder, there's a new folder there called Zoom Test. If you go in there, it's blank. There's nothing in there. At 9:50 tomorrow, the test will be in there in PDF format. Okay? So the test will be in there in PDF format at 9:50. You'll see it there. If you go there now, it'll be blank.
Okay, thank you.
So instead of
Um,
class, it will be a test,
Sure.
right?
It'll be a Zoom test, but yes,
Okay.
you all must check in here because I'm going to take attendance when you're taking the test. If you're not on the attendance, it will not count.
Okay.
Okay?
I also
Wait,
doubt-
Mr. Rosenthal.
Yeah.
So are we gonna talk about the retakes yet? Or
Okay, retakes. We can talk about retakes. So here's how a retake is going to work. With any tests that I've already handed back to you that you have, I will still need test corrections that you could submit on Schoology. Once you've done that, we need to make an appointment on an individual basis, on a one-to-one basis. So let's say one person needs a retake. You tell me when you want to retake it, and I will write it down, and I will do the same thing I'm doing with the test. I will put that test, I will send that test to you as a PDF. Okay, you will get a 90-minute window, and then I'm going to remove the test, and you must submit it in 90 minutes from me putting it in there. Same thing as this time. Okay, so the test tomorrow, it's actually 100 minutes because I'm giving it to you at 9:50, and it's not due till 11:30. If you turn it in at 11:31, I will not accept it. So you're being given 100 minutes to do it. So for the retake, the same thing will happen. I'll post it, and then you'll get basically 90 to 100 minutes to submit it. I guess I'll make it 100, okay? So I'll timestamp it, and so when you turn it in, if it's past time, that retake will not count, okay? And then I'll remove that test from Schoology. So I'll put it up there temporarily for you to get it, and then once you have it and the test is over, I'll take it down, okay?
Mr. Rosenthal?
Mr. Rosenthal.
Yes.
So Elise told me that you removed her and then now it won't let her back in.
Okay. It might have kicked her out permanently. So she was the Galaxy Note 9.
She said she was Elise Ramirez.
No,
I didn't remove Elise.
that's what it says. Yeah, it's still. I searched it up on participants. Her name is there.
Yeah.
Oh, now she is.
Okay, great. All right. Any other questions that you guys have?
How do you, I'm confused on how you take the test without printing it out still.
Well, it's online, right, on Schoology. You hit it, it's a PDF. It opens up on your computer. You see it on your computer screen.
Oh, and then you make your answer key on a regular piece of paper?
That's correct.
Okay.
Do we have to write the questions if we're not going to print it?
Wait,
You don't have to write the question.
can we?
You do have to show all your work. So you might need to write the original
Can we
problem.
write the questions?
Then you'd have
and
to
the
scan the
answer
answer.
onto
Wait. You guys have to ask one at a time.
Mr. Rosenthal, so you can print out the test, and when you do,
Right on the printout, yeah.
and then we also show it. We just write.
You're
the
sounding
questions
pretty
and go
muffled,
over it.
so try to unmuffle if you can.
Yeah, there's just something wrong with my mic right now, so
Okay,
it's like a little muffled.
go ahead.
So we print it out, we write the answers, and then we also show our work on another piece of paper like we do with regular tests, right?
Either on the same paper or on a separate sheet of paper, but you must submit your work. Okay, so if you're submitting 6 pages, I'd rather you not submit 6 pages. It'll take me forever to grade. So
And
if
if
you
we-
can consolidate it into 1 or 2 pages, that would be great.
And
Right.
if we just do it online, then we just write our answers and show our answers on the different piece of paper, right?
That's correct.
So what we have to do is we have to like write all our answers down and like show all our work on whatever paper, and then
Organized in an organized fashion, yes.
and then before 11:30 we have to take a picture of it and submit it
It needs to be submitted before 11:30
through Schoology.
on Schoology, yes.
Okay, yeah.
I'm confused. Okay, so I know we take a picture of the scratch paper, right? And then
Or scan it.
oh, okay. So for the test, do we do it online? Do we print it and then send a picture? I'm like, that's the part that I'm.
Yeah, so either you can print it and do it right on the printout that you printed, or you can do it from your computer screen and do it on scratch paper, the whole test, and make an answer key on your paper.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just make sure the most important thing is to show all your work. You're going to need to still put your heading on there so I can see that it is actually your paper you're submitting and not somebody else's.
Okay.
So, and that's it.
Thank you.
And not only that, I will be here while you're taking it with the mic on like this, and you can ask questions like this during the test. Okay? So you'll get another chance to ask me these things tomorrow.
Thank you.
It's key if you know that you take a long time to do these tests. Make sure you get it right at 9:50. Don't come in late at 10. Come in at 9:50 and get the test going right away. Okay?
Will the Zoom meeting be open at 9:50?
That's
Yes.
yes, I'll probably start the Zoom meeting before I do that. So if you're in there, I'll be telling you, okay, guys, I'm about to put it in your folder, in your Zoom test folder, in the materials, and I'll say that, and then you'll see it pop up and you can go. Okay, so if you want to be early, that you might have a small advantage there.
So, Mr. Rosenthal, the question, this is the like review portion, and then there's a vocabulary segment like always, or
Yes,
is it different than
yes,
that?
vocab, and make sure you're studying the vocab. We're not reviewing the vocab. That's all the highlighted material from your book, from your textbook.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, folks, let's do this problem. Suppose for some value of m, the solution of the equation is this, and the solution is x is 13, is the solution. What is true about m? And justify your conclusion. Well, what they're saying basically is they're giving you what x is, and really m is the unknown. That's what ends up happening here. So watch me rewrite this problem. And this is what you're
The
going to...
only thing that's true about m is the value of m.
Well, the value of m is something that's true of m.
This is chapter 8 review.
Because equations are
Yeah, because we're not looking for, what's true about m? It's a letter in the alphabet. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the value is what it means. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite that as 1/4. Rewrite that as 1/4. Instead of x, I'm going to plug in 13. And now it looks ready to go to find out what m is. And finding out what m is what you're trying to do in this problem. You could distribute. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to multiply by 4 on both sides, which gets rid of the 4. So now I have 13 minus m is equal to 12. Now mentally, you could think this out. 13 minus something gives me 12. Well, you know m is 1. How would I solve it, though? Solving it can be tricky for some students. Minus 13 is one way to do it. That makes 0 minus m is negative m. Over here, you get negative 1. Well, you're almost solved. You're not completely.
You can multiply by negative 1.
You can multiply or divide by negative 1 on both sides.
To remove the negative.
And that would make that one positive, and so would it do to that one. Positive.
Because what the answer is, it's just m, not negative m. So therefore, you have to change it.
This is the answer. What's true about m is that m is 1. That's what's true about it.
So, Mr. Rosenthal?
Yes.
By
the way, is Elise here? Did she make it back?
Yeah, but I'm on my phone.
Okay. Oh, you're on a different device. I wonder what happened. I did not remove you or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Her bandwidth could have been unstable and it logged her out.
Okay, thanks. And that'll
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah. That's fine. Well, we're going to move on. Any questions about this?
What I'm confused on the second part of the equation where it says 3 is x equals 13. What does it mean when it says 3 is x?
It doesn't say that. That's a semicolon.
What does the semicolon mean then?
This is separate from this. This is the equation, and this is a suggested solution to the equation.
What is it?
This is an equation. This is the solution to the equation.
Oh, was there a semicolon up there?
Right here? No, not up there. Here there is. Oh, you're looking here.
Yes.
Okay. The solution of this equation is x is 13.
Oh, okay.
Good question.
Could you move the camera a little up because we can't see the screen? That's better.
Mr. Rosenthal,
Uh-huh.
is this a chapter 8 review?
It is.
Okay.
We're continuing where we left off, yes, 2 days ago. Any other questions? We can move on to the
What
next.
happened yesterday that we didn't have class?
Teachers were told in the beginning they were going to be out for 2 weeks. So
Oh.
we didn't take all the materials we needed for a month and a half or more.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
So,
Mr. Rosenthal.
including all my tests. So I couldn't have given you a test because it was all at school. So I had to go to campus. So originally, my time to go to campus, I was told, was the afternoon. So it didn't affect the lesson. Then we got an update from the district saying they wanted all teachers to come in the morning. So then I was told I had to come right away. So I had to cancel our class. Any other questions about this problem?
And Mr. Rosenthal,
Yes.
another way to think about the semicolon is like if x is 13, what is the value of m?
That's a good way to think about this problem when you get it on the test tomorrow. Remember, your test looks just like this. Anybody who misses the test, by the way, has to take that, or if you took it and you don't get it in on time, you'll have to retake it. Okay, you'll have to take the test version B. Okay? All right, let's move on to the next problem. All right, the side lengths in meters of a triangle. So the first thing I would do is start sketching a triangle on your paper right now. That's the first thing I would do. Get a look at, put a diagram on there. And it's not drawn to scale. I don't know what it's going to come out to. But the side lengths in meters of a triangle are 4x, 20, and 6 times x plus 5. And I don't know which one's bigger. And so the way I draw it doesn't necessarily mean that's the bigger side or not. The perimeter of the triangle is 100 meters. What is the length of the longest side of the triangle? So think about that. I'm going to give you a minute to try it out. Go. The perimeter is 100. You should be able to make an equation if you understand what perimeter is.
For the equation, do you want us to put it in simplest form or
I want
as
you to
is?
answer this question. What is the length of the longest side?
Okay.
That's the question I want you to answer. As long as you can answer that question, then you're good. Oh, if you don't have a working printer, I think you said never mind, but if you don't have a working printer, you can take it from the computer and just write it on a piece of paper when you're taking the test. Check everybody. Everybody's name should be good now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start seeing who's here, like taking attendance while you guys are working on problems.
Is this an equilateral triangle?
I don't know, it doesn't say.
Oh.
That's what they want you to figure out, basically.
Also, it can't be because we know the perimeter and one side is 20. 20 does not go evenly into 100.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, if it was equilateral, then they would all be 20, and then the perimeter would only be 60. Okay, that's 2 minutes. Time. Let's take a look. So the equation you need to write is, in any order, 4x plus 6 times x plus 5 plus 20 is equal to the perimeter, because the perimeter is adding up the sides of the polygon. At this point, you are going to simplify this part here by distribution. Rewrite everything else. 6x plus 30 plus 20 is equal to 100. And I'm gonna have to angle the screen down a little bit. Put together your like terms. 4x and 6x make 10x. 30 and 20 make 50. 100 hasn't changed the whole time. Next, subtract 50 on both sides.
Where did you get 30 from?
The what?
The 30.
The what?
The tree zero. The 30.
Oh. 6, I distributed.
Turkey.
Do you see the 6? 6 times x and 6 times 5.
Okay.
For some reason, this little symbol that I make to show distribution does not register with 6th graders. I don't know why. It just, like, you see me doing it and it doesn't go into the head some reason. Because I've done it for many, many years, and for some reason, it's really intuitive to me that when you see that, you know what I'm doing. But it's normal, I guess, and at the 6th grade level to kind of just overlook what I'm doing there. That's me showing you that I am distributing the multiplication to both parts. Okay, so remember that I just said that. Don't forget that. Okay, minus 50 on both sides. 10x is equal to 50. I'll have to angle it down again. It's going to be pretty glary, but you'll have to put up with it. My apologies. Divide by 10 on both sides. And x is 5.
So it's an isosceles triangle.
Hold on.
That's not what they're asking, though.
Yeah.
No, but that's good. I'm glad that you are making the connection. So this, you would think, oh, I'm going to put that in my answer key, and that would be wrong. You need to find out what the length of the longest side is. So what do you have to do? You have to plug it in. 4 times 5, this side is 20. So those sides are the same, which is why a student just said that it's isosceles. But if I plug in 5 here, I get 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 times 6 is 60. How do I check my answer? Add them up. 60 plus 20 plus 20. It's 100. So the perimeter is 100. That's the right answer. So the longest side is 60. This is my answer. So in my answer key, 60 meters. Yes, you need your units. If you don't put your units, it's wrong. Okay? Questions? Nobody? Anyone? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Just making sure.
We can hear you.
Somebody asked, we print it out and take a picture of it. Yes, you can, or scan it. Oh yeah, so you don't know how to scan, that's fine. Take a picture, airdrop it to yourself, email that picture to yourself. You can put it in Google Docs and submit it. You might be able to even upload it as that file, as is. I heard a student say in my geometry that they put it in Google Docs first, and that's helpful. Make sure you leave yourself a good 5 to 10 minutes, if you can, to submit your test. Don't be taking your test up to the last minute and then you get it in late. Okay, any questions about this problem? The problem on your test looks like this. So you should be able to deal with the problem. Shouldn't be confusing the wording because you're asking your questions now to get rid of the confusion. So you can go back to the wording. Any questions? Going once?
Yes, Mr. Rosenthal, for the test, is there, I don't know, I forgot if this was like something like with Schoology, but is there a limit to how much like data or like how many
Not that
like
I know of. I have people that are submitting 6 pages worth of stuff. I don't want you to, but I believe you can.
Mr. Rosenthal?
Uh-huh.
So is it fine if you like for the side that is the longest, is it fine if you put like that whole group, like the 6x plus 5 as your answer? Like
No. No, that's not okay. This is your answer right here.
For in black, the 6x the 6 times x plus 5, I substituted the x for 5, but then I distributed first instead of adding inside the
Okay.
And that gave me a different answer.
No. If x is 5, 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times the other 5 is 30.
Oh.
30 and 30 is 60.
Never mind. Okay.
Oh, new Snapple fact. A dog's average body temperature is 101 degrees Fahrenheit. So they run hotter than humans.
Whoa.
Wow.
All right, moving on to the next problem.
Dogs are definitely hotter than humans.
Okay, here we go.
Ha ha ha.
Next problem. Here we go. Write an inequality to represent the statement. Okay, here comes the statement. Elizabeth's earnings at $15 per hour were greater than $120. Go ahead and see if you can write that. Write an inequality to show that situation. Yep.
On the test, by work, do you mean like we have to show every step of dividing? Like,
Yep, everything. All of it. I need to see as much as you can possibly show me.
okay.
It's even more so now than ever because I'm not there in front of you, and it just, it's still not perfect. People can still get away with stuff, but we're on our honor, and we're trying to make sure that everybody actually knows the material. All right?
Okay.
Yeah, I see people putting in their answers. It does not say to solve it. So when it does this on the test, you will not be solving it. You will be putting in your inequality for your answer for this one. Okay, here we go. Write an inequality to represent the statement. Elizabeth's earnings at $15 per hour. Her earnings are $15 per an hour times however many hours she works. You could use an H. You can use an E for Elizabeth. Okay, doesn't matter what variable you use, but you need to know that there's a variable. It's not 15 is greater than 120. Okay, it's $15 per hour times a certain amount of hours is her earnings. Okay, that's her earnings. That is greater than 120. This is what your answer is. That's it. You're done. You don't even solve that. Okay? Any questions? No?
Can you solve
How do we show work?
No?
How do we show work for this?
You don't. Well, yeah, how do you show work for this?
For me, what X is.
Oh.
Right. Hours worked. This
And
is
15 is the dollars per hour?
hourly rate.
And then overall pay.
Yeah, you something like that. Just some sort of explanation of what you're doing. Okay?
Like an explanation of each
even if
number.
it's short, but you're telling me what your variable is for. That's fine. Just remember, I know when you can show a lot of work, and I know when it's hard to show work. I know.
I got it right.
If it pops up into your head, it's really difficult to show work here. I already know that. Okay, I know, but you have to be careful with that because it might be that you can show work and you don't realize that you can. So you have to think about that. But now's the time to ask. Now's the time to ask how you.
Excuse me? So could you just like this is sort of really irrelevant, but could you just put a multiplication sign between the 15 and x?
Why?
Would that still be right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, why do you need it?
I was just wondering because I wrote 15 times h is greater than 120.
That's correct.
Okay.
So basically your work would be the labels?
Yeah. Defining your terms and what things are on there. Okay, moving on. All right. Is the inequality true or false? When y is equal to 8? Explain. Take a minute to do that problem.
Is that a negative 29? Oh, sorry, I didn't see the board.
Oh, yeah, you're good. When y is 8. Hello there.
Mr. Rosenthal?
Give me 1 second, Jasper.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, bye. Sorry, Jasper, that was Miss Huff. We're teachers, just so you know, are communicating all day, constantly, throughout the day, every day. We're trying to, be collaborative. Go ahead, ask your question.
So on the test, would our work be, would our explanation be our work, or do we have to write a?
It's what you see me doing here. Doing this, rewriting and substituting 8 for y, that's your work. Okay, so now underneath this, I should see some work under here, not mental math all the way to the end. Oh, okay, by the way, you can now put a question mark above that because you don't know if that's true or not. Okay, so here, this is a negative times a positive is negative 25.6 minus 4. And then this is left and this is left. For those of you that are still having trouble, that's a good way to do it. They're both going to the left, so you can combine them. Negative 29.6, is that, question mark, greater than negative 29? And this is where you're going to get a percentage of the students. You're going to get them all the way to here correctly, and they're going to lose it right here. This number's absolute value, the distance this is away from 0 is more, but this is further to the left than that. This number is to the left of that number. So this is a false statement. And it may be on the other side. It could be that it's true on your test. It might come out true on your test, but in this case, it comes out false. So that's what I need to see. Questions? No questions. Okay. You guys still there?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That's inappropriate. Once that one person answers that, you're good. Okay, so you're going to have a graphing problem. So this one says, graph the inequality. And look at where they put the number. On the left. They're basically testing you to see if you know how to deal with it when the number's on the left. They want to see if you can handle that. So I recommend, for those that have trouble with that, if you don't have trouble with it and you get this, you don't need to do this next part. But I suggest you switch it. When you switch it, it switches the arrow. So instead of greater than, it should say that. And then when I graph it, put the -3. Make sure that that's -4 and not -2. -2 goes to the right. Open circle. If that happens to be equal to also, you must close the circle. If it's less than or equal to. And then it shades left. Questions? I mean, so far, the test seems very doable. It does not seem like it's beyond what you guys can do. You guys should be able to take advantage of this and do pretty well on this test.
Did kids in the past have trouble with this chapter, or?
I never gave this test. Last year, I gave a multiple choice test for this one. So this is the first time. You guys are the first ones to take this one, and it doesn't seem that bad, actually. Any questions about this problem? What are kids who are going to get this wrong going to do? They're going to shade to the right because they're going to see that arrow. And they're not getting it. And you're not asking me. That's if you ask me now, you won't be in that group. If you sit here and just,
Mr. Rosenthal.
Uh-huh.
Oh, sorry. You can. Sorry.
Oh, okay, no worries.
My connection was bad.
Okay, no worries. Next problem. Okay, is the inequality true or false when b is -5? So you're going to get another one of these plug-in ones. This is a plug-in one. This one might be a little bit more complicated. Is this true or false when b is -5? Okay, so you are going to be substituting.
False.
We don't shout out the answers, but you're welcome to put it in the chat, what you think it is. I'm going to put a question mark because we don't know if it is or not.
Wait, b equals 5 or 0.5?
-5.
Oh.
Neither. Okay, so I plug in the -5. A negative divided by a negative is a +6 minus 8 greater than 0. And you can already see it's going to be false. 6 minus 8 is -2 is not greater than 0. So that's false.
Mr. Rosenthal, so would you just write false on the answer key, or would you put like if like?
Yes, false.
Okay. Or like if b is 2, then it's false.
No, false.
Okay.
So like we only put the word false. Like no evidence. The evidence isn't our work.
Okay, so there's the answer key, and then there's the work that you show.
Okay.
The answer key has the word false in it. Then the work, all this must be provided somewhere nearby that I can see it. Okay, somewhere close by, or on a scratch that's numbered, whatever that. Let's say this is number 15. This work would say number 15 next to it, and I would see it there. Okay, moving along. Now we're just solving. Now you got to solve for x, and it's an inequality. It does not say to graph. You are
Move the
just
camera up, please.
Yeah, we can't see.
Thank you.
Mhm. So now we're just solving. And it has fractions in it. Hopefully everybody's comfortable with that. All right. Well, this is ready to solve right away. You just have the fraction. You're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is also negative. -6/1, basically, on both sides. You don't have to put over 1, by the way. That helps some students. So that's going to make this positive x, right? Cancel, 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 cancel. Over here, a negative times a positive is a negative. The 6 and the 8 can cross cancel. Some of you like to still do 6 times 7 is 42, 1 times 8 is 8, and then you reduce. I do my reducing now. So 2 goes into this 3 times, 2 goes into this 4 times. Now I'll multiply. 3 times 7 is 21, 1 times 4 is 4, and I can leave my answer just like that. There's no reason to go any further. You don't need to say -5 1/4. You don't. Hold on. You don't need, hold on. You don't need to say -5.25. It's unnecessary. All right. So you don't need to do that. You can leave your answer just like that. Now, I've seen students get this far, get it right, and insist, I really want to show you the mixed number, and then they get it wrong when they make it a mixed number. So that's
an oof.
That's up to you. I will still accept it in any of the other formats, unless the directions say otherwise, which they don't. So I'll take. I'll take.
Mr. Rosenthal, it's a greater or less than sign.
Time is still. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, I see that. You're right.
Yeah.
And that's going to be wrong, by the way, if you do that.
Yeah.
Okay. When I multiply by a negative, it switches the arrow. That's going to be the key to this problem. Yeah. So if you, okay, by the way, what you just saw me do, that happens to half the students that take this test on this type of problem. They turn an arrow into an equal sign. Just like I did. You just saw if a teacher can do it, it's really easy. So maybe since you're at home and you're going to peek at your notes, it's open note, then make a note for this problem. This is on page 16. Make a note around 16. Trap. Make sure you don't lose your arrow and make it an equal sign at the end.
Why does it
And also the football inequality sign.
Why does it
I lost
flip
my
it?
arrow because I stopped paying attention to that. I was busy explaining all of this other stuff and forgot, oh, we're doing an inequality. The
Yeah,
arrow,
but like, why did
why
we
did the arrow
switch it?
The arrow switched because we multiplied by a negative on both sides.
Okay.
I'm completely blanking right now. How do we know that 21/4 is greater or equal to x?
Because we solved for it.
Okay.
How do you know that x is equal to 5 in certain problems? You solved it. We solved what x is. X is less than or equal to negative 21/4.
Oh yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
For some reason, I changed 1/6 blah, blah, into 4/24, and then I changed 7/8 into 21/24 for some reason.
Right, and so you're trying to resolve an adding or subtracting of fractions. You need a common denominator.
Yeah, and then I added 4/24 to both sides, and I got
You can't.
1 and 1/24.
You can't add because this has an x attached to it.
Yeah.
Not a
that
like
was a
term.
mistake I made.
Mr.
I tried to.
As long as you see it, then we're good.
Mr. Rosenthal?
Yeah.
I don't understand why didn't you, could you have multiplied the 7/8 by the 1/6, or would that be wrong?
By 1/6, you can multiply both sides by 1/6, but what's going to happen when you do 1/6 times 1/6? It's going to
No,
be...
I didn't mean that. I meant like, couldn't you multiply 7/8 by 8/7 and 1/6 by 7/8? I mean, sorry. Why couldn't you use 7/8 instead of 6/1?
So that question comes from not knowing what the end goal is. What is the end goal? What are you trying to do?
To find x? No.
Well, you need what to be here? 1.
1.
Right. So by you trying to make a reciprocal of the 7/8 into 8/7, you're going to make this a 1 when you do that. Which you can do that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But you're not heading towards your ultimate goal. Then what happens when you multiply this by 8/7? What are you going to get?
Then you definitely do not get x by itself. So basically you're saying that
you're going to get negative 4/21x over here, and you're going to get 1 over here. And then you're not going to be any closer to your answer.
So you're saying you sort of have to like look into the future, air quotes, to find out the right way to like sort of plan everything out so you know what you're doing isn't going to mess the entire problem up.
Yeah, and that's for your life, not just in math.
Okay.
In life, you should be looking ahead and having a vision of what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go. Any organization, even a school, has a vision.
A vision, I see.
The vision is not, you're not reading the future. It's trying to set, a goal for what you're trying to do and where you're trying to be and what it looks like in the end. You need to see where you're going. Otherwise, hold on. Otherwise, you could be working completely in the wrong direction, which that's what that would be. Okay. Other
Do we
questions?
have vocabulary on the test?
No, yes, there's vocabulary on the test.
Okay. On the test, would it be better to write 21/4 or 5 and 1/4?
Okay, so you want to write it the way that I wrote it. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you could write it as, but it just be more complicated, right?
No.
That's why you don't want to write like that.
No, you're more than welcome to write it the other way. It's just an extra calculation.
Yeah.
You don't need to do it.
Okay.
Mr. Rosenthal,
Yes.
why did you switch the signs?
When you multiply a number by a negative, it switches the signs. So let's examine that. If 5 is less than 6, what happens when I multiply them both by a negative number? Let's say by -2. This becomes -10. This becomes -12. -10 is not less than -12. Okay, it's greater than -12. Why did that happen? Because these numbers were on one side of 0, and then when you multiplied by a negative, they went to the other side of 0, which switched the location that they are with respect to each other. So whereas 6 was on the right on a number line in the beginning, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here, 6 is on the right. When you multiply by a negative, both of these, they go over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? This one was on the left, this one was on the right. Once we multiplied by -2, they gave us -10, but now we're over here, and this one's on the right, and this one's on the left. Okay? So this one was left and became right. This one was right and became left. And the reason is because multiplying by a negative switches the side of 0 you're on. If I multiply these by a negative, they will go over to the positive side and will be in, right? It switches their place compared to each other. All right? So that's why whenever you multiply or divide by a negative, you must switch the arrow. Okay? All right, moving along.
Wait, Mr. Rosenthal,
Uh-huh.
is it okay if for the shaded arrow, if you color it in with highlighter?
I guess that would be okay.
Oh, thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay. Write a scenario that corresponds to the shown. Okay, hold on. You guys got to give me a second.
By scenario, do you mean like equation or inequality?
Yeah. So basically, I want you to write the inequality. Write a scenario that corresponds to the graph shown. You guys don't need to come up with a word problem for that. Okay, you can just write this. X is greater than or equal to -2. Done. Now, if you want to go further and say, Emily has at least -2, then you can do that.
Like Emily owes somebody $2 or something.
But she doesn't. It's at least -2. Or she has. Yeah, I would just leave it like this. This is the easiest way to do it. Just write the inequality. And you can't really show much work for that one. So just that's fine. Just put that in your answer key and move on. Somebody asked, can you write it the other way? You can write it this way. -2 is less than or equal to X. Yes. But that's not right. Not -2. You can't write -2 is greater than X. Because -2 is not great. What is X? X is all the shaded part. -2 is not bigger than the shaded part. It's at the bottom. It's the least it could be. Okay? All right. Questions? Still there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, Emily.
What are the odds?
Well, Emily is my wife, so I use my wife and kids.
Oh.
Emily's my mom.
Very good.
Oh.
All right, so.
Emily is my cousin.
Okay, thanks for sharing.
Isn't there an Emily in this class?
Thanks for
Oh my
sharing.
Yes,
gosh.
that's
Yes.
Let's stop sharing that now. What's the name? Okay, Emily has budgeted at most $850.
Security breach. Security breach.
You guys, when I'm talking, you really shouldn't be talking at all. Okay, please, you got to regulate yourself. Okay, Emily has budgeted at most. That at most part is important. At most, $850 for vacation. She's already spent $459 on hotels. Write and solve an inequality to determine, now you have to write and solve an inequality to determine the amount of money left in her budget. All right, so let's write our inequality. See if you, I'll give you 30 seconds, write down your own inequality for the situation. And remember, put yourself in the situation, the budget. It can be at most that amount. So you have to think about, well, what do I have to spend as my variable? I can't go over the 850. How am I going to write that?
Is this the last question on the review?
Well, this says 18. It looks like there's this one and 2 more.
Oh, okay. So what if we don't finish this today?
We are finishing today.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm going to start writing this in here. Okay. So $850. She's already spent $459. So I'm going to say she's going to spend X amount of dollars on everything else. Plus, she's already spent $459. If you put $459 first, fine. Okay. But she has to stay under or equal to, but not more than $850. If you put $850 first, you would have to say $850 is greater than or equal to. See the difference? You have to get that right. That's really what I'm testing you on here. Are you getting this part, the arrow, correct? So both of these are fine. I like it this way. I like the variable on the left. That's my preference. Now, write the inequality, done. Now solve the inequality. No problem, that's the easy part. Once you get here, it's just this math problem here. No arrow switching, nothing. X is less than or equal to, and that will be 391?
Yeah.
850, yeah. Okay, and it does not say to graph. So this 391, what does it mean? It means that she has $391 left to spend on other things for her vacation.
She has at most $391.
At most,
long
right?
is this
Which means,
lady's
what does that mean? That means she doesn't have to spend it all. Her goal shouldn't be to spend every last dime of it. She just can't go over that. She can go over it. Right. Questions about this? Okie doke.
Stop humming. Mute yourself.
Moving
Hey,
on.
Mr. Rosenthal,
Yes?
for an answer like that, for a problem like that, rather, would you write the inequality that you used and then the answer just to clarify? Like, or would you just...
Because it wants the inequality and to solve it, you need both in your answer key.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right. 2 more problems. The math department at a school is selling formula books written by seniors. That would be cool if the seniors wrote you guys all formulas to use for your class. And they're selling them for $4. It costs $60 to use the printer. Also, it's like, think of it as a business or a fundraiser. It costs them $60 to use the printer plus $2.25 per book. If they print 200 books, then they must have used the printer and they must have paid this much for each of them. How many do they have to sell to make at least $400? So you have to consider to make at least $400 is we're talking about profit. So you have to understand that profit is equal to your revenue minus costs. Okay? That's how you're going to determine your profit. Now, if your profit is at least 400, then that can be greater than or equal to 400. Okay, so you got to think about that. Okay, so some calculations you have to do. I have to spend $60, so I'm working on cost. I have to spend $60 to use the printer. I then have to pay $225 per book for 200 books. And we're going to run out of time, so I'm going to just go through the problem. So we now know that if they're paying that per book for 200 books, they had to spend $450 plus the 60. Those are their costs. Okay, put those together. You now have $510 of costs. Okay, I don't know how much they made, but I know that they're selling them for $4 each. So the revenue is $4 times however many they sell. So now I have this and I have this. I'm ready to write my inequality. My inequality will be how much money they make is $4 per book. There it is, 4x. Minus how much they had to spend, $510 to make them, has to be at least, so greater than or equal to $400. And we'll hold our questions at this point. I'll do office hours.
478 books.
Hold on, guys. I'm going to do office hours right after this, so I'll stay on a little bit. So no questions now for people that need to leave. I'm going to just do the problem. So I'm going to add $510 to both sides. Okay. And I'm going to angle this down. 4x is greater than or equal to 910. And then I'm going to divide by 4. X is greater than or equal to, and X, by the way, is how many books they need to sell, which is what the question was. I know you can't see it now. Okay, so that's 2, and then 2, and then, okay, so let's see, it's a decimal. Hopefully on your test it comes out to an exact number of books because you can't sell partial book. Okay, let's see, 2, 1, 21, hold on, wait a minute, I think I did something wrong. 4 twice, 11,
227.5.
twice 30, it's going to go in 7.5. 227 and a half books. All right. So if you're going to give a practical answer, I think it'll be an exact number on your test. Okay. It'll be an exact number on your test, probably. But if it's not, I'll take this answer. 227 and a half books. Now, practical answer. Since you can't sell half of a book,
Cut it in half.
you
just sell an extra book.
You either make it 227, but then you will not make your $400 profit.
Yes, it is
228.
Right. So in order to get at least that profit, you would have to sell 228 books. That's a practical answer.
Wait, but then you spend more.
So I would either, listen to me, I would either accept the decimal, or I would accept the practical answer. I would not accept 227 though. Okay? No, you can stay after to ask questions. I can go back to this problem.
Mr. Rosenthal?
Yes.
So I got 178 books.
Okay.
I don't understand how you got 220.
You have to tell me where you went different. Where did your route lead you different? Did you get the purple inequality?
Not even.
So okay. Did you get how do I determine the 4x? Do you understand that that's how much money they're making? $4 per book?
Yeah, $4 per book for an X number of books.
X number, okay. Do you get why the cost is $510?
For what?
Okay, $60 to use the printer,
Oh.
$2.25 per book to print, and they printed 200 books. So that's $450 worth of printing books, plus the $60 to use the printer. That's where that comes from. Now you should understand this. The money they make minus the money they spent has to be the profit, which has to be more than or equal to 400.
Everett, your camera's on. Oh, there we go.
Right? Now, I have to move on to the last problem so people can get to their next class. I don't know if you guys have another class on Wednesdays.
I have American
don't have-
Images at
Some
12.
people do.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, okay. So I think we have a little bit of time to go over to the last problem. Last
Can you turn up the camera?
Okay. Last problem. Suppose a
May
business.
you move the camera up a bit?
Yes, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Suppose
you.
a business spends $20,000 a day to operate. Here we go again with costs. The average amount of customers they get in a day is 2,500. On average, how much should they make off of each customer if they want to make a profit of at least $60,000 for a 30-day month? This is a complicated problem. This is probably one of the more difficult problems on the test. Write an inequality to represent this situation and solve. So let's think about this. Suppose a business spends $20,000 a day. Remember, you need to know what they're making, and you're going to need to subtract cost to get profit. Okay, so profit is equal to that. Revenue minus cost. Okay, so you can work on either one first, doesn't matter. Since they start with spending, let's start with cost. Let's find out what our cost is. $20,000 a day over 30 days, right? So $20,000 a day times 30 days. Zero, and then one, okay, 0.00006. So in a 30-day month, their cost is $600,000. Okay? So this is a nice, good-sized small business. Okay? All right, so the average amount of customers they get in a day. So now we're talking about making money, revenue. The average amount of customers they get in a day is $2,500. Yes? Yes? Oh, I thought you were calling me. Okay, so they have 2,500 customers a day, right? They need to know how to make a certain amount of money off of each one. So it's 2,500 customers. Let me close that window. Now, I think there was an easier way to do this. You could have done it for the day. Okay, but, oh, maybe not. Okay, so let's say 2,500 customers per day. We want to know how much they need to make off of them. So that's X. How much money are they going to make off of each customer, right, per day, times 30 days. So they're going to make a certain amount of money off of each customer. So 2,500 customers times how much they make off of each one. They make $1 off of each one. They're going to make 2,500 a day for 30 days. So then it's just 30 times this number. You better be taking good notes so that you can use these notes on the test. 15. 75,000 X is what we come out up with, is the revenue. Okay, so 2,500 customers a day for 30 days is 75,000 customers in a month. Okay, so now that's going to help me know what to charge them. If I charge them $1 each, or if I make $1 off of each one, then that's $75,000. All right, but now, so now I have this 75,000 X is my revenue. All right, and I'm going to come down now. I need to make a profit of at least $60,000. So 75,000 X minus my costs to operate have to be greater than or equal to 60,000. Okay, we're almost done, folks. Go ahead and add your 600,000. Do both sides. Getting low here. 75,000x is greater than or equal to 660,000. Okay? Divide by 75,000 on both sides. All right, I know it's going to be hard to see in a second. Now, you have calculators at home, don't you? Right? So go to your calculator. Get rid of the zeros. Okay, 660 divided by 75. So you can go ahead and get out your calculator and do that calculation. 660.
I got 8.8.
8.8. So how much money is that? We got this. We got x. X is greater than or equal to 8.8. But what is X? It's how much money you need to make off of the customer. Okay? X is going to be how much money. Write an inequality to represent the situation.
Just put 8 points.
How much should they make off of each customer is what X is. X needs to be at least $8.80. They need to make $8.80 at least on each customer to make that profit. So that is a monster of a problem. Okay.
Is that an average though? Could that be just an average?
Yes, it is an average. Absolutely, it's an average.
Okay.
It's the amount that they need from
Okay.
each customer.
If you
All right, so
Mr. Rosenthal?
you guys are dismissed officially.
Wait.
Well, no. I'm not ending the meeting.
Oh.
But you are dismissed unless you want to stick around. Office hours has officially begun.
Mr. Rosenthal?
Yes.
So, for the problem that you just did, an equation that I came up with that involves the distributive property is 30 times the difference of 2,500x minus 20,000.
Yes, because you notice that both of these, this was for finding the cost, was multiplied by 30. And then for finding the revenue, we multiplied by 30. So if you multiply both by 30, you could save that for later and distribute it to both. So that you could do the revenue minus this cost of 20,000, and that's basically representing your daily. That's your daily profit. And then you multiply your daily profit by 30, and then you would distribute and get the same. Excellent.
On the test, are we allowed to use a calculator for this problem?
Yes. You can use your calculator for any of the problems now because I can't stop you, so I might as well just open up that gate and say go for it.
Thank you, Mr. Rosenthal.
You got it. You guys are free to go. I will stick around a little bit for you if you need.
Thank you, Mr. Rosenthal.
Thank you.
Bye.
Check your updates tomorrow in your materials folder.
Okay, bye.
Right, bye.
Thank you.
You got it.
Mr. Rosenthal.
Mr. Rosenthal, can you let me see the bottom part? Because I can't really see it.
Yes. It's glare. Let me turn off this light down here. Oh, the glare is from the window. So let me. How's that?
Thank you, Mr. Rosenthal.
Oh yeah, that's better. I wonder if that's the way I should do it. That light from the window, well, no, it's fine. Anybody else have any questions for office hours? No? All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting if you guys are all done. Okay. All right, guys, this will be posted on YouTube later on today, so you can review it for tomorrow, and I will see you later. Bye.